Today you're going to be working on a solving equations review. For each section or part, please watch the video posted in your Google Classroom and solve the equations along with the video. Then, please complete the matching independent work. Please get through as many lessons as possible with the time you have during class. So today we're going to work on part 1, which is solving one-step equations. So let's start with the first one. As you recall, we build our wall, we call the wall an equal sign. We always start on the side that has the variable, which is an alphabet letter, and we look what operation is happening. So we're taking our unknown number minus 14, so we're going to do the opposite. We're going to add 14, and we do this to both sides. It's called balancing your equation. So it cancels out when you do an opposite or inverse operation, one undoes the other, leaving our variable m, which is what we want, and then 23 plus 14 is 37. And this is known as a solution. It would mean that if we replaced m with 37 and then we subtracted 14, we would get back 23. And this is referred to as a check. For today's purposes, we won't complete all the checks, but I always use a check myself personally if I'm unsure of my answer. So our next equation, you're going to notice that the variable is on the right side. Again, we build our wall, but we want to start on the right side because that's where the variable is. And we're adding 7. So instead of adding 7, we're going to subtract 7 on both sides of the equation. So on this particular side we started on, our variable a is left over, and we want to keep things on the side that they were originally put on. And then 28 minus 7 would be 21. Now at the end, if you prefer to switch around the variable in the solution answer, you can, but please, while you're solving, keep what is on the right and what's on the left. The next situation is a little bit unusual, or might be something we haven't discussed very frequently, but you're noticing the variable and the number here, but they're switched. So we have 5 plus n. And as long as there's an addition sign in front of the variable, we're going to go ahead and call it a one-step equation. There's going to be other situations where you're going to have a minus sign in front of the variable, and we'll discuss that in a different lesson. So if I'm trying to figure out how to eliminate this number, I'm seeing a positive 5. So if I want that to zero out or become to go away basically, I need to take it away. So there's 5 and I'm taking away 5. So I'm going to take it away on both sides. Now I'm not subtracting it because this is a plus sign. I'm subtracting it because if I had 5 and I take away 5, I have 0. I no longer have a 5. I do, however, have a positive n, so I'm just going to write n. And on the other side, 14 minus 9 would be, 14 minus 5 would be 9. So our solution is 9. Our next equation, we start on the right side because that's where they gave us the variable this time. Build our wall. Now, if you recall, side by side means multiply. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. And we're going to choose to show division like a fraction bar on both sides. So 6 divided by 6 would be 1, dropping down our variable x, and 48 divided by 6 is 8. If I was unclear about that, I would say 48 equals 6, and we think our answer is 8. And that is true. That's a check. Our final equation, and sometimes students are confused by this, but this is read as W divided by 4. Remember, our fraction bar also doubles as a division bar. So the opposite of dividing by 4 would be to multiply by 4. So I'm going to multiply this by 4, and I'm going to multiply this side by 4. So these two 4's eliminate each other, leaving W. So multiplying by 4 and then dividing by 4 would be the same thing as 1. 1 times W is W, and 11 times 4 is 44. A check would look like this: 44 divided by 4. So I replace W with 44, and that does give us back 11. So now I'd like you to go to page 1, which is titled One-Step Equations, Integers. When you're finished, see your teacher for the key and check your answers. Then return to the guided notes and go on to part 2, watching the video for part 2, and then again complete the independent worksheet for part 2.